How we doing? It's Matty Lewis here, also known as Stein Kelson. What I'm going to be doing today is, as you can see, it's an analysis on Dominik Szoboszlai. The player won our Player of the Season in 2023-24, and this post kind of goes hand in hand with the 2023-24 season analysis, which I'm going to link in the description below. So, Dominic has quickly emerged as one of the key players in the attacking setup with OGC Nice. As you can see, I have him operated as a central midfielder in the position as a mezzala. So when operating in this role in our top-down formation, the young Hungarian usually is permanently looking for free spaces in the left-hand side half space. Um, this is to provide kind of vertical passing options for his teammates, often down the channel between the right back and the centre back. And he's also proven efficient when dissecting deep blocks in the game and also high defensive lines. You can see from his attributes that he's very much a creative force rather than a goal scorer. This can also be seen when exploring his in-game traits. So Dominic likes to play killer passes often. He looks for the pass rather than attempting to score. Bit of a showboater, likes to try tricks, and also likes to try these long-range passes that we'll see a little bit later on. Sloboslai's got great vision. Um, Here his attribute rating is 15, which is usual for a kind of an offensive midfielder. Although his original position, when you do drill into the player roles, is that he should operate, or his least favoured position is a left midfielder, as a kind of inverted winger. Um, he doesn't kind of just make use of his quality when he's on the ball. He exploits his abilities off with really good off the ball movements. It's a attribute rating of 16. The Hungarian's got a good feeling for when he has to start a sprint and get into free space, and also when he should stop his movements. He's got, the off-ball movement is something you look for in kind of an attacking player. He's got good acceleration rate, good pace. So, like I said, he can really exploit any space, get into those positions to be able to then deliver a pass. Um, he's got magnificent abilities on set pieces. He's got, his direct free kick has been fantastic for us. Something which we've benefited for quite a few times. His corners is also at 16. So it's no surprise that during our save with OGC Nice that Dominic has been put on set pieces. There's probably still another side of the coin that we can explore is that he's not always able to show off his talent. Um, Believe it or not, actually, when one of the cons that I don't look for when I sign players is not ideal is that Dominic is actually believed to not enjoy big matches. Something which, strangely enough, I've not really seen too much of from him within the save. But yeah, signed him from RB Salzburg for 25.5 million, and he's now valued at 52 million pounds. So, as I said, Dominic has been lining up in the Mezzala role on support. Um, this is the kind of the most used players that I've got from 2023-24. Um, he did convert from this role. So originally during the start of the season, I had him playing as a central midfielder on support. Um, Kind of seen two massive benefits since I've had him in the Mitsala role is that he's also knocked on the form of Amin Juri. Um, like I said, the Mezzala will be moving into these half spaces, and the inside forward will also be moving into those spaces. It could have been a bit of a risky tactic where both of those players could be occupying the same space, but in terms of the match engine itself, what I've actually found is that they actually cause an overload in that space, and it seems to be working really well because a lot of my goals do come down that left-hand side of your channel. Just comparing Szoboszlai in the Metsala role against the league on average for that role, you can see that his passing percentage is slightly behind the average. I think that that's going to have something to do with the fact that he likes to try those killer balls often. He's a very creative player, so he's going to be playing the sort of passes that are going to be a bit more high risk for higher reward. and that's reflective. His assists per 90, absolutely, he's an outlier. His key passes per 90, again, performing the overperforming against the average. He's scoring more goals per 90 than he should. He's got more expected goals 90 than every Mezzala in the league. So all in all, yeah, shots on target, he's getting more shots away. Potentially because I'm sure that some of these statistics, metrics that we've got on here are going to be inflated. I said earlier that I've got him on set pieces, so every kind of set piece delivery is a potential to get more shots on target or more key passes per 90 than somebody that's not on a set piece. Just quickly looking at his statistics for across the season, just some interesting things that I would like to point out. So, averaging 353 minutes per goal, he's making 0.25 dribbles per 90, whereas a shot on target is basically one shot on target per game. Averaging about 43 passes completed per game. He's actually winning two tackles per game and has made 47 interceptions across the season. One good thing that I think I've got here is his tackle win rate is at 82%, which is, I'd say, pretty decent rate. Um, so yeah, I've kind of made an assist map to highlight where Dominic's been getting his assists for across the season. You can see that we've got a cluster of assists in this left-hand sided half space. Now, Dominic is right-footed, so he potentially is to be curling them balls into the back post, which we've seen from kind of these two long-range passes where he's kind of just hit, I wouldn't say speculative balls, but they've kind of been balls that have been lifted into the over the higher defensive line with attacker running in through. We've got a lot of goals where have come, so a couple of his assists have come from corners, two from the left-hand side, one from the right-hand side. But yeah, I think this just gives you a nice bit of flavour to see where Dominic has been able to, get his assist for the season. We can see that there's a certain cluster of them within that half space, and that's what you would expect seeing is that he's operated as a Metzala. I've just carried out a little bit of data analysis. I know that for those of you that have been following my blogs, you'll know that I'm a data-driven blogger, analysis-driven blogger. I really love to kind of just get underneath the hood of the game and just drill down into the world of Football Manager and try to, just squeeze every last bit of juice out of it. So I'm looking here at passes completed per 90 and key passes per 90. So as you can see that Dominic is performing, he's got more passes completed per 90 than average. And his key passes per 90 also above average. This is against all players in the French league that have played over 1,000 minutes. Now, the one takeaway that I'm going to draw from this piece of data, other than Marco Verratti, is absolutely outstanding. He's on the ball all the time at PSG, a metronome, and he's also pulling off a lot of key passes. One thing I would take from it is that if you look at the passes completed, there is nobody. Um, so Dominic has basically got the most amount of key assists in terms of his passes completed, other than Verratti. So everybody else that has played more passes than Szoboszlai has not actually created as many key passes as him. Potentially could be because he's on free kicks and corners, but I'm going to say it's because he is an exceptional creative player and has the ability to play that killer pass, which kind of stands out a little bit more when we look into the key passes per 90 and the assists per 90. And as you can see from this, we've got him playing four key passes per 90 and an assist per 90 figure of 0.42. So every other game he has been picking up an assist in League One, basically. Um, which is exceptional. That you've got other players that are playing less key passes. Believe it or not, Pedro Brazil, Arthur Zagre, both my players. We've got Emiliano Fernandez, also another player for myself. Um, But yeah, in terms of his key passes per 90, he's expecting to get an assist every other game. Now, the only person who's beaten that to date, we've got a couple here, but again, a massive outlier is Verratti, who's performing, you know, over 7 key passes per game, and he's getting assists literally every game per 90 for the minutes that he's played in Liga, which is exceptional. The final metrics that I'm just going to look at for this post are the shots per 90. So, um, is Szoboszlai a volume shooter, and the amount of goals that he's getting per 90? So, what you would do when you're looking at this graph is that, the more shots you're taking, you're expected to get more goals realistically. So, if I'm looking here at Erling Haaland, he's taking the most amount of shots per 90 in Liga at just over 5.5. Now he's averaging a goals per 90 figure of just under 0.75. Neymar, on the other hand, if I'm just doing a direct comparison, is taking, you know, less shots per 90 and is getting more goals per 90. So that would potentially make Neymar a better finisher than Haaland. I know it doesn't drill down into the expected goals. Probably should have added a third layer on top of that so that you could see an expected goals value. But that's just kind of how you use these two metrics. So our shots per 90, Szoboszlai is just sitting at 2.5 shots per 90, and he's got goals per 90 figure of 0.25. So he's scoring 1 in 4, which I think is a solid return for any sort of midfielder. When you take into consideration your top midfielders that have played over the years, goal scoring midfielders, you'll probably think of, in terms of the Premiership, you're going to be thinking of Frank Lampard, Stevie Gerrard, who probably are at probably a goal per every 1 in 3. So 1 in 4 is not that far off. Um, and yeah, it just goes to show that since he signed for us, how effective he's actually been. He's been a really good player. His value, he's almost doubled in value. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be too long before any other big teams start to move in for his signature, and I think that he's got the desire where he wants to be playing at a higher level. And I don't really blame him, but it's been an absolute pleasure signing him. For those of you that have been following my save since the beginning, he was a player that I was interested in from the end of season one. Um, and yeah, no, you can say like to get the return in terms of assists and goals that he's got over the last couple of seasons, he's been, one of the key reasons as to why us at OGC Nice have been able to compete and across the board at all levels. So yeah, no, thanks for joining me today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, it's an add-on to the blog. The blog will be found in the description, and vice versa. Cheers.